Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have a little bit of a boring background right now. I've actually done the last couple of videos with this background. It's just so much easier for me right now, and my life is so crazy. But I promise you I'll get back to the really pretty background very, very soon. But for right now, this is what we have to work with. Me and my beautiful electrical box over there. Yeah, I have the electrical box in my room, which is so weird to me. But for today's video, this has actually been very requested, and you know, it's a video that I've kind of been procrastinating on because I don't know all the answers. And you know, I get a lot of requests asking to do more faith-related videos, and sometimes I push it off to the side because I don't know, like I don't know all the answers, and I never want you guys to think that I'm like, here's all the answers, like take it, like this is, you know what I mean? Like I never want you to take it that way. I'm not the best person to come to when it comes to this stuff. I am very involved, you know, in my religion and in my faith, and you know, that's a gigantic portion of my life. However, I don't, maybe it's an insecurity, maybe it's, I don't know, but I don't think that I am the best person to come to. So for today's video, I want to talk to you about some tips that I have, but I want you to know I am not an expert. I don't think you should take this, you know, wholeheartedly. I think you should take it with a grain of salt, and hopefully it helps somebody out there. But today, after that long spiel, we're gonna be talking about, it's a very tough topic because there's so many different, there's a lot of kind of like controversy around it, because you know, you never want to be the person that's standing outside with flyers. You never want to be the religious freak. Like you know, you need to find a nice balance, because a lot of the times, you know, I feel like Christians are like, I need to worship, I need to worship, I need to tell people about my faith, like, you know, like woo, like I need to do this. And that's not necessarily the case. I think you need to take it, you know, from a person-to-person standpoint. And a lot of the times, if you are forcing your religion on someone or you're forcing your faith, it can push them away from God, and we don't want that. We do not want that at all. We don't want our actions with good intentions to force someone to never go to church, or be like,
ugh, no, I knew this one girl and she wouldn't shut up about her religion, like blah, blah, blah.
You know, you just don't want to be the reason why someone just doesn't go to church, even though you had great intentions. That is what we're going to be talking about today. So the first thing that I think you should do, or let's say you just have a friend that's a non-believer, but you want them to be so badly, obviously the very first thing you should do is build a relationship with that person. So, you know, you might just be friends. Like if you are just friends, depending on, like, let's say you're just an acquaintance, you know what I mean? You should build that relationship with them before even bringing it up. So definitely build that relationship with them, make them feel comfortable around you, and, you know, just be loving and caring and just be their friend. And the next thing I really think that is very important is, like I said, just give it to them in ounces. Like a little like sprinkle here, a little sprinkle here. Just talk about it as if talking about God in your everyday life is normal, which it should be. If you're a Christian, it should be normal. Like you should be able to be like, oh, God is so great, you know, I did this and I did this and I did this, and God allowed me to have this. You know, just talk as if it's normal. Talk as if you're talking to your Christian friends. Try not to talk to them as if there's something wrong with it. Talk about it as if it's so normal, which it is. Don't just talk about your religion, show them. For me, I get questions all the time, and people know that I went through depression, and I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and I had a really, really, really hard time, and that's a part of my testimony. And so now I get people who ask me like, how do you stay so positive? Or how did you overcome it? How did you blah, blah, blah? And I tell them Jesus, like that's what it is. And so I'm showing them through my actions that what God has given to me. He's given me happiness, he's rescued me, he's made me this better person, you know. And when people ask you, why, like how are you so happy? And I just tell them it's Jesus. And I know with God's unconditional love, and even though I mess up, if you ask for forgiveness and you truly mean it, you're not just like,
you don't just steal something and be like, God forgive me for stealing, and then go and steal something else.
like, no. But knowing and feeling sorry about it, and knowing that God's unconditional love for us is always there, and that you know you are never alone because you have God beside you and you have God watching over you, and you're literally never alone. And whenever I was in that depression, I felt so alone. I had no friends, you know, like blah blah blah, and it was just a terrible place. But once I got introduced to the church, I realized like I'm not alone, you know. I always had God beside me, and he was always there for me. And just knowing that you aren't alone and that you have someone there, like, it really helped me. Long story short, I showed them by showing a very positive attitude, a loving attitude, and when someone comes and asks me, I just give credit where credit is due. And it's not credit for me, you know, I didn't do any of it. It was all God. And I think that's so important, to just show people the love of God. Another thing I would recommend is just to invite someone to church with you. I think that people underestimate the power of an invitation. For me, I was in Noah and Alyssa, they invited me to church, and I loved it. And I would not be a Christian right now if it wasn't for Noah and Alyssa. Plan lunch, plan breakfast, whatever it is, and be like, hey, do you wanna, you know, go get breakfast and then go to church with me? Or be like, hey, would you mind going to church with me and then going to lunch? Like, I would love to catch up with you. The power of inviting someone to church, and then also not just that, praying for them. And really, you know, after churches, a lot of times, you know, the pastor will be up front, and, you know, he is always like, if you need prayer, come on up and we can pray together. So for me, I've done that with a couple people in my life, where I just go up and I pray for the other person, and that God really speaks to them. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think you also need to realize that you, like, it's not you, like, it's not anything you can do to bring someone to God. It's God, and God is going to work through you, but he's going to do it at his own time. So you also really need to understand that, unfortunately, not everyone is going to be accepting of you preaching to them. I have a family member that I love so much, and there's nothing I could do to get that person to go to church with me. There's nothing. And I've tried, and I've prayed for them, and I've done a lot just trying to get this person to come with me. Sometimes you need to realize that God gave us a choice, and, you know, God gave us will, you know, we have a will, and we have the right to choose. And sometimes people are going to choose to not believe in God, and to, you know, and that's just the sad reality of it, you know. But in that case, you pray, and you pray, and you pray, and you pray, and you pray every single day for that person. And, you know, maybe God will work through them in a different way. Maybe, you know, maybe God has a plan for them, and maybe, you know, God has something up his sleeve where in 10 years this person's gonna meet a girl or a guy, or, you know, a friend, or whatever it is, and, you know, that person's gonna lead them to Christ. So I think being patient too. So being patient, being loving, giving it to them in small doses, you know, and just really showing them who God is through your actions and through your words. It will eventually bring them to God, hopefully. But keep in mind that we do have, we have a will, and we have the right to choose. So right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and end the video. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below. If you enjoyed, give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. And I will see you guys later. Bye.